Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. Let's look at some health issues now. The recent approval by the Federal Executive Council of a $150 million World Bank credit facility to support polio eradication and the scaling up of routine immunization in Nigeria brings to the fore the need for the country not to drop the ball ahead of the expected attainment of a polio-free status. Nigeria is one of the only 3 countries in the world with ongoing wild polio virus transmission alongside Afghanistan and Pakistan. Our health correspondent, Yomi Otaigbe, looks back on the journey so far and efforts at eradicating polio in Nigeria.
The Director General of the World Health Organization.
Cautious celebration it was for Nigeria since the delisting of the country from polio-endemic countries in September 2015, after the last case of the disease was recorded on July 24, 2014, in Sumaila local government area of Kano State. But 2 cases of the debilitating wild polio virus, which resurfaced in Goza and Jere local government areas of Borno State in August 2016, dealt a major blow to the country's 2017 polio-free status target. Since August 21, 2016, Nigeria began a new race towards the attainment of a polio-free status. The finish line is set in August 2019. It's been twists and turns for Nigeria in the country's quest to kick polio out. Take a look at the trend of wild polio virus cases in Nigeria between the year 2000 and 2016. In the year 2000, there were 29 cases, which went up to 58 in 2001, 202 in the year 2002, and 355 in 2003. The controversy over the safety or purpose of the oral polio vaccine led to a boycott of the vaccine in northern Nigeria, and this resulted in a sharp rise in the number of cases, with 792 cases recorded in 2004, 830 in 2005, and the peak of the disease in 2006, with 1,122 children paralyzed by the polio virus. Poliomyelitis is a highly infectious viral disease which mainly affects young children. The virus is transmitted by person to person, spread mainly through fecal-oral route or by a common vehicle such as contaminated water or food, and multiplies in the intestine from where it can invade the nervous system and can cause paralysis. According to the World Health Organization, there is no cure for polio. It can only be prevented by immunization. To ensure that no new case of wild polio virus emerge, the Federal Ministry of Health, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and development partners, have intensified polio and other routine immunization campaigns to make sure that children remain protected. Yomi Otaigbe reporting for Channels Television News.
Let's take a further look at this issue now, and I'm now being joined live from our Abuja studios by the Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaib. You're welcome to the News at 10.
Thank you for having me.
The federal government just approved a $150 facility. What are the things being targeted to be accomplished with these funds?
Right, so the $150 million is the World Bank additional financing, which complements and consolidates what the federal government has been doing around finishing the job of polio eradication, strengthening routine immunization, and ensuring that we have a cold chain system that will continue to protect our children. This fits into the broader agenda of the health sector, which is around providing enough resources. For the very first time, 55 billion naira was approved by the federal government to provide much needed primary health care, immunization services to Nigerians. So for the very first time, you have a situation where vulnerable groups, such as children under 5, women, and the aged, can actually go to health facilities and get treatment for free. This has never happened, and this is exactly what we've been talking about for so many years, and this is the first time that the federal government, working with the National Assembly, has made this available. With the 150 million naira, 150 million US dollars that is provided, again, it shows the kind of confidence that donors have. You may recall that only a few weeks ago, Gavi provided $1 billion US dollars towards supporting immunization in Nigeria. This is because there's a lot of confidence in what the federal government is doing, and it is clear that what the federal ministry has done in reaction to low vaccination coverage is exactly what we should be doing. When in 2015, 2016, the mixed result came out that showed that we had only some 25% of our children vaccinated, the Federal Ministry of Health and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency declared a state of public health concern. There's no way we can, as a country, be vaccinating only 1/4 of our children. So at NPHCDA, we set up a National Emergency Routine Immunization Coordinating Center and replicated in 18 of the poor-performing states. And now we're already seeing progress in terms of reaching kids with the vaccines that they need. Now, with the 150 million US dollars, we'll be able to spend more money to procure oral polio vaccines, pay for polio campaigns, pay for the vaccines that we need to cover our children, and also be able to strengthen routine immunization in every single health facility.
So Dr. Schwab, really if I may come in, if I may, with all these things you've listed now, are we ready to achieve a polio-free status anytime soon?
Absolutely. So if it weren't for the insurgency in the Northeast, by now Nigeria will have exited from that infamous group of nations that are still battling with polio. We went almost 2 years without a single case of poliomyelitis in Nigeria. Again, we have gone 25 months without a single case of poliomyelitis in Nigeria. So not a single child in Nigeria in the last 2 years has been paralyzed from polio. And this is because of the work that we're doing with traditional institutions, with religious leaders, with community-based organizations to increase awareness around the need to protect our children with the vaccines that they need. And we're pretty confident that immediately we're able to resolve the insurgency in the few local governments in Borno State, that we will go to these local government areas and are certain that we do not have polio viruses. And then in the next 12 months or so, we'll find that the World Health Organization will certify Nigeria as polio-free. So these funds really will be targeted towards crossing the finishing line when it comes to polio eradication. We're almost there, and we have every confidence that working with our partners, we will cross the finish line.
Let's hope Nigeria emerges victorious. Thank you so much, Dr. Shuaib Faisal, for speaking with us on the News at 10. The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, is asking Nigerian youth to rise up as agents of transformation to check impunity in the society. He was speaking in Enugu at the 30th Student Christian Movement Conference, where he presented a paper on the role of the Nigerian youths in active governance. The state governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, shared a similar view and is optimistic that the way forward is to mentor the youth on truth and integrity.
But if you young people rise up to your position as leaders and say, we will not tolerate the stealing of resources, because that is the major problem our country has. It's a major problem. So if you challenge corruption, as you must, because that is what you are called to do, that is why you are called the salt and the light. If you challenge it, you will be in the minority. You will be swimming against the current. That is why the gospel is contrarian. If you cannot challenge corruption, and you young people, if I do not see you on social media condemning those who are stealing or who have stolen the resources of the state, standing up to say, I condemn what you're doing, then you are not going to change anything. You can call yourself leader from now till eternity. Nothing will change. You will have the same country as you have today. We can make a difference. And you young people can make a difference, can make a world of difference, but it must be the true gospel.
The 2030 United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Development, especially Goal 11, emphasizes the need for the provision of space towards inclusive and sustainable urbanization. But the lack of safe spaces has been identified as a factor affecting youth participation and their ability to effectively contribute to development, including peace and social cohesion. This is the focus of discussions held to mark the 2018 International Youth Day at the University of Lagos.
Startup capital was the know-how.
Safe spaces for youth is the theme for this year's International Youth Day. To commemorate the day, the United Nations Information Center in Lagos and UN Population Fund, in collaboration with a youth development non-government organization, host students, youth groups and social entrepreneurs to address issues relating to their well-being and encourage their participation in enhancing society.
How can I simplify tech in a way that even if you do not like tech, you can still enjoy it? So I thought about these two problems, and that's what made me start Misteki. First of all, there was a gap that was empty that I felt I could fill. Second, I felt like I could bring in something different that others didn't do.
Another session deals with the civic space, how young people can contribute actively to nation building, get involved in policy and governance, and fulfill their civic responsibility.
2015 elections are coming. Can we be realistic to say the best that many young people can do if their voting age is to actually vote? And to get 3 of their friends to also vote.
Many of these that they blame were in their 30s, were in their 40s when they ruled Nigeria, right? We need to take responsibilities now for the future of our nation. We can't blame anyone.
While there seems to be hope for a brighter future for the youth, his mental stability largely contributes to this. This is where Smile comes in.
Another aspect that really bothers me a great deal is their mental health. The fact that they are going through a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of insecurity because of unemployment and a lot of things that are going on right now. A lot of emphasis is being laid on skill sets these days because that's the only way you can be distinguished when there are very minimal opportunities.
As youths continue to grow in a technologically connected world, they aspire to engage deeper into political, civic and social matters, and the availability and accessibility of safe spaces becomes even more crucial. Governments can also create a safer environment to make this a reality.
When the news at 10 returns, economic analysts expect further drop in Nigeria's inflation rate ahead of official release of July data from the National Bureau of Statistics next week. That's on Business News. Join us again.